I assume you remember how the previous chapter ended.
Frisk gave a science presentation?
Yeah, there was a science presentation. Something else might have happened.
Oh, yeah, and then there was rain, I think.
There was rain, yeah.
Minor.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't Frisk, fall in waterfall?
Yeah.
Didn't they, well, that's what it's called. There's water and you fall.
There was that.
Yeah.
I can't remember if anything else important had
I think
happened.
he probably had more dreams.
Let's see. Toriel died. He had
Wait, what?
dinner. Oh, yeah, right.
What?
Yeah, I forgot Toriel died.
Toriel
died.
Daddy,
All right.
why are you? It's so weird. You really like Toriel, and you're just willingly reading us this story where Toriel dies.
Well, I couldn't change it on the fly.
Yeah, but
And there was Toriel, asleep on the ground,
dead,
dreaming deeply.
Yeah.
All right. That's their own fault. They ruined their life and his, and now they're ruining yours out of spite. Your hand is so close now.
It's like they're talking to another person that's not them.
Well, it's back to the narrator's narration, and they're speaking of Kara.
Yeah, but it's saying they, it's as if he's
Kara is saying, accusing Frisk of taking Azrael away from him.
It's as if Frisk is talking to, Toriel or someone.
That's their own fault. No, it's Frisk thinking
about
Kara in the style of the narrator, which has all been second person. And so they're thinking about Kara. That's their own fault. They ruined their life and his, and now they're ruining yours out of spite. Your hand is so close now. At the last second, you stop pulling back and lurch sideways with all your strength. And I press, and you press. Chapter 16. Load.
Is that what it's called?
No. Oh, yes.
You leave behind the gloom of your menu and lurch sideways, the leftover momentum of your desperate grab for control sending you sprawling on the dusty ground. You shut your eyes tight to block out the glare of the afternoon sun and roll onto your front, blinking the purple splotches out of your vision. You lie panting on the sloped ground, dragging your fingers across the dirt to convince yourself it's really there. Thank goodness it is. You open up your eyes and take in your surroundings. Sparse trees and terrain that is equal parts grass, earth, and rock. That means you're halfway up Mount Ebott rather than inside of it. Your failsafe has worked.
Where did they hit?
They hit load.
And wherever they are.
Because that was the one on the other side.
Yeah.
On the left. Where you lurked.
Let's take a brief break to go to Chapter 1.
I remember it.
And I'll read you the very first lines of Chapter 1.
Hey, I don't know.
You leave behind the gloom of your menu and blink to clear the purple splotches in your vision as your eyes adjust to the light. You're halfway up Mount Ebott. So there was
halfway up or down?
Up. I mean the same thing.
So they're not in the underground yet?
No.
No, they were going to get Flowey.
So there was a sneaky plot point right there at the beginning. Frisk started with a save and then proceeded to go dig up Flowey.
Right.
No, Kara's just hey, we reset.
You take a deep breath and exhale slowly, allowing yourself to relax. You knew when you first decided to bring him to the surface that Flowey was volatile. It was always going to be risky, putting so many people you cared about in his way. So when last week, at the entrance to the cave, you had found yourself determined enough to make a save point, you decided not to waste the opportunity. Everything you've done since then, moving him into the greenhouse, his meetings with Toriel and Undyne, your trip to see Gerson in Waterfall, will have been erased. But at least you've avoided...
Isn't Kara mad, though?
Well, I guess we'll see. But at least you've avoided resetting completely. And Toriel is safe. That's enough for now. You lie there for a little while, until the burning sun on the back of your neck forces you to sit up and lean against a tree for shelter. What to do next? You have your body back. That's a start. Focusing on your train of thought, you find no trace of Kara's presence. If they're still there, they're not bugging you. What about Flowey? The more mercenary part of you considers leaving without him, walking down the mountain right now and letting him wallow alone in the misery that he craves so badly. But you know that's not an option. It's not that you just can't risk letting him go free after everything that's happened. It's not even because of that last conversation in the greenhouse and his strange change in demeanor that you're desperately needing to decipher. It's because if you give up now, you'll prove that he is right, that he's beyond redemption, beyond hope, and you can't accept that. Your backpack lies on the ground, slung off your shoulder when you fell. You open it up, put on the helmet and harness, and attach the climbing rope to the tree by the cave. You'd be surprised if Flowey hasn't used the time you spent dithering to make good his escape, but you lower yourself gradually into the ruins nonetheless.
Oh, of course, Flowey would remember. Or, well, no, he wouldn't.
I think he probably would.
He remembers loads, though, just not resets.
Yeah.
Huh.
End of chapter.
Really?
What?
Okay.
Yep.
What?
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. What?
Chapter
You
17.
tricked us.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
How did I trick you?
Because that was a very, very short chapter.
I never said it wasn't.
I know. But you
Well, that's not a trick. How could I have tricked you when I made no representation of this chapter
We
at
were
all?
all assuming it was going to be twice as long.
Yeah, don't assume anything.
Well, it's 9:10,
It
so
literally took 5
yeah,
minutes.
let's read the next chapter.
well, what do you want me to
We could
do?
have read the
I
other chapter last time.
Oh, but that would have given away all the fun.
Oh.
It was much more fun to leave you on tenterhooks.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
It would have been the fun sooner.
Chapter 17.
What's it called?
Flowey?
Question.
?
Asriel?
Chapter 2, I believe, was called Flowey. Let's just check. Chapter 1 was called Prologue, Save. Ooh, it was even called Save. Look at that.
That was my
All kinds of clues there for people who are paying attention. Unlike us.
We're
Exactly.
reading so long. I mean, just the chapter title, which is like one word.
Well, you know, yeah.
Friend.
You gotta pay
Also,
attention
we're
to
not
these
familiar with
sneaky
this
things.
author, so we're not used to sneak.
Alright, yes, from now on, be aware that this author apparently likes to sneak things into the chapter titles.
Yeah.
Chapter, whatever this is, whatever it is. You alight not far from the bed of golden flowers and look around. Flowey's not making his presence known, and you don't think there's any point in going to look for him. For all you know, he could be on the other side of the underground by now. You sigh, defeated, and slump against the wall, sliding down until you're sitting on the cave floor. That's when your ears pick up a very faint but unmistakable sobbing. It's coming from the flower patch. You scoot forward, afraid that whoever it is might flee if you make a wrong move. But you get close enough to see that one of the flowers is bent over unnaturally, its petals curled in towards the center, small shakes running up its stem in time with the sobs. It's him, all right. Flowey? You venture. Where do you start? What can you possibly say? Leave me alone, comes the faint reply. You cross your legs in front of you and put your hands in your lap. Please, Flowey. I still remember, he says. That means you didn't reset. I failed. I'd go away. You sit there, silent, waiting for him to attack or run away. But he just keeps crying. Minutes wear by and the tears still fall, but eventually he gulps and speaks again. Why couldn't you just reset? I made a promise, you say, to a much smarter flower than you. No more resets. Then kill me, he rasps, and just make it all go away. You say nothing. Please, he says, quieter still. I can't go on like this. Not after what you did. What did I do? You ask, bewildered. It's something to do with you. I know it is, he says, tilting up his head to stare at you balefully. Don't act like you don't know what I mean. He keeps his gaze fixed on you for a moment, waiting for an answer you can't give. Seeing your confusion, he hangs his head and keeps talking. In the last day, I've started hurting. Worse than usual. I want to scream all the time. I want to run away or just die. Anything to stop the pain. His speech quickens, his voice creeping towards hysteria. What did you do? I don't know, you answer, and it's the honest truth. I really don't know what changed. I couldn't sleep. Every time I shut my eyes, it was something different. A friend that I murdered. A kid that I tortured in front of their parents just for fun. The girl that I bullied until she killed. He breaks off in a howl of misery that splits your heart in two and keeps going until he chokes and coughs before drawing in another torturous breath. I hate myself, Frisk! I deserve to die! I want to die! Please, please take it all away! Reset! He hunches over again, a fresh bout of sobbing racking his body. You wish more than anything that you could hug him, wrap your arms around his chest, and let his tears fall on your shoulder the way Toriel does for you when you're at your worst. But there's nothing to hold, and you don't think he'd let you if there was. So you just sit there, helpless, watching him break down under the weight of 1,000 sins all felt at once.
I thought you couldn't feel guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I can't go on,
Yeah.
he wails, tears dripping onto the grass beneath him. I know you understand, Frisk. I can't survive when I feel so... Feel.
Exactly.
The word jolts you and snaps you to attention.
He's feeling pain. And
You
guilt.
You find yourself reaching out, looking for something, not with your eyes or your hands, but with something more primal, more essential. And there it is. You understand now. That change you felt in the greenhouse, a presence that was new but familiar at the same time. You can hardly believe it, but now that you've felt it, there's not a shred of doubt in you. You're only surprised it took you so long to realize it was there. But sure enough, resonating deep within Flowey's frail, hunched form is the unmistakable presence of a soul. You draw breath softly, but not so softly that Flowey doesn't notice. His sinking head cocks upward again, a flash of annoyance offsetting the misery in his expression. I know what this is, you say, the shadow of a laugh in your voice. Don't you realize? This isn't funny, he snaps. Whatever it is you're doing, stop it! Guilt, you say simply. He looks nonplussed. I remember how you told me, you continue, that there's this rush that comes with doing something bad. And without a soul, you get the rush without feeling the guilt afterwards. There's dawning realization in his eyes now, and you talk faster, excited. You're feeling it now! You know what that means! It's impossible, he protests. My soul was destroyed. But it's there, you say. You know it is. You can feel it. He squints. You're right. I think it's partly there. He's breathing faster. His voice is frantic. What does this mean? Here, insult me. you say, gesturing with your hands. Come on, call me I don't know, a big stupid jerk or something. What? That would be mean, he exclaims. Then he chuckles. Oh my goodness, it would be mean. He bends over and laughs out loud, manic as ever, but unguarded in a way that you haven't heard from him before. I don't want to be mean to you, Frisk. I'd feel bad. And with that, he dissolves into giggles. You stare at him, smiling nervously. You prefer this, whatever it is, over the weeping, but after a solid minute of wordless laughter, you're getting a little bit concerned. Sans made so many stupid jokes, Flowey wheezes. They weren't even funny. They were just so dumb. You're caught off guard. Why is he bringing Sans up now? But he's off again before you can process his words properly. Oh my goodness, I just remembered Papyrus. He looks at you anxiously. He must hate me now. Do you think he hates me, Frisk? Why would he hate you? I made friends with him. In this timeline, I mean. And then when the barrier went down, I just never talked to him again. I thought I was doing it to manipulate him, but he's really cool. More tears well up in his eyes. But now he's gonna hate me. Whoa, okay, you reassure him, reaching out with one hand and then drawing it back. I think you're feeling a lot of things that you've repressed for a long time, and it's probably overwhelming, so don't... He bristles. I didn't do it on purpose. I couldn't feel them. I tried. I know, I'm sorry. I just thought you should know what's happening. That makes sense, he said. It's definitely a lot. He pauses and then blurts out, I killed my parents! Again, you don't see the connection. I remember, I was there. I did it before you arrived as well. Mainly Asgore, when I was trying to get the souls. He shudders. I should be more upset about this. Your soul's probably out of practice, you reassure him. Give it time. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here for a while. You sit there for a long time, the light from outside gradually fading until you no longer cast a clear shadow on the flower bed. Flowey doesn't talk again. He just sits there, swinging between extremes of emotion like a pendulum. But each shift is less intense than the ones before, and eventually he stabilizes in what looks like a fairly neutral mood. He looks around and notices the fading light. We should probably go, right? He asks. You want to come to the surface again? I don't know. I'm scared to try it again. But I don't want to stay here. Let's see how we go, you suggest, wriggling onto your knees and swinging the backpack round in front of you. Your legs are stiff from holding one position so long, and you scrunch up your toes to try to get some circulation going while you get out the trowel and the flower pot. Ready? You ask, digging the trowel into the soil beneath Flowey. I'll watch out for your roots, you add, preempting his warning. But when you pull back on the handle to lever him out of the ground, the exertion leaves you light-headed. You let go of the trowel and rub your forehead. Oh, what is it now? Flowey asks. I'm tired, you say. Your stomach growls. Hungry. When did you last eat? I had dinner before going to bed. No, he sighs. I mean, when did you last feed this body? Oh, I had lunch. You look at your phone. It's 6:30. 6 hours ago, I think. Did you eat a lot? I don't remember. Well, you've climbed a mountain since then and sat here for, I don't know, hours. No duh you're hungry. Oh, man. I I don't know if I can climb back out of here right now, you confess. Oh, my goodness, Flowey moans. All right, give me a minute.
What does it say? Oh, what?
He ducks underground, leaving nothing behind but the trowel and a bit of upturned soil. You wait a minute, and then another, before he returns. He pops back out of the ground exactly where he was before and lifts up a vine coiled around 2 pieces of monster candy. Eat these, he says, dropping them in your lap. They should help. The sign said to take 1, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Thanks, you say, unwrapping the first candy and shoving it in your mouth without hesitation. No problem. You are my ticket out of here, you know, he says dryly. You swallow the first candy and eat the second more slowly, washing it down with the water you brought with you. You allow a few minutes for the sugar and whatever magical ingredients there are in it to get into your system, then take up the trowel and dig Flowey free with fresh vigor. Wait, he says, once you've got him situated on your back and are clipping yourself to the harness. Someone's coming. Sure enough, there's a sound echoing down the hallway. A rhythmic, metallic clunking. Someone in armor, you think. 2 people, in fact, judging by the pattern. Or one on a horse. You're getting ready to clamber up the rope and make a break for it when the familiar lumbering forms of RG-01 and RG-02 appear around the corner. Both of them are holding ice cream cones, which look incongruous against their heavy battle gear. You sigh with relief, but hear Flowey inhale sharply. 01 speeds up when he sees you and calls out in greeting, Yo, Frisk! We've been looking for you! Yeah, chimes in 02. King Asgore called up and said you were missing. We came right here to look for you. I mean, we stopped for ice creams on the way, which, now that I think about it, maybe we shouldn't have. Yeah, sorry, bro, 02 says. I had a craving for pistachio. Yeah, I totally get you, man, but yeah, Frisk! And, Flowey. That's me, Flowey answers tensely. The king said that the queen said you were meant to be back by now, explains 01, and that you might be, in trouble. Your stomach drops. You don't remember what time you promised Toriel you'd be back, but it's definitely past by now. She must be worried sick. We were just heading up to the surface, you tell the guards, gesturing to your climbing rope. We got sidetracked. Don't even worry about it, says 02. We'll phone the king and let him know you're heading topside. I think the queen is up there looking for you, 01 adds. So, look out for her, yeah? You feel a pang of guilt. Poor Toriel. As if you haven't put her through enough stress in the last few days. Then you remember that you haven't, because you reloaded. And that makes you feel just worse. The conversations you've had with Alphys, Undine, Asgore, you've taken those away from them yet again. Even though you had no choice, you still feel rotten. We better go then, Flowey states. Yep. You check your harness one more time and begin the climb. See you later, guys. Bye, 01 and 02 call in unison. You watch them turn and walk back to the ruins proper, lifting their helmets to lick their ice creams. Dorks, Flowey mutters, his tone somewhere between affectionate and disdainful. Your sugar rush ends the second you're over the lip of the crevice, and you need to lean on the wall to support yourself in the cave mouth. You take the backpack off carefully as you can, and lie your back on the stone, breathing in the evening air. Have some more water, Flowey instructs. Yeah, you say, sitting up and sipping from your bottle. You almost drain it on instinct before thinking to offer him any. Want some? I'm good, he says. You should have as much as you need. You pause. He accepted a drink at this exact point last time. Is there any reason he genuinely wouldn't want now? You know he remembers, and you can tell by the way he avoids eye contact that he knows that you remember. Either there's some next-level mind games going on, or he's simply being selfless. The air is fresher up here, he remarks. I like it. It just feels nice to breathe. He looks down, self-conscious. Yeah, you say, I know what you mean. After the strenuous climb, Ebbett's cool evening air is perfect. There's traffic on the roads far beneath you. By the time its sounds climb the mountain, it's been smoothed into a faint, steady whoosh that's easily overwhelmed by the spring breeze and occasional snatches of birdsong. You pick up the backpack, carrying Flowey in front of you for the last couple of steps, and walk out onto the mountainside. It's then that you hear him gasp. Oh my goodness, Frisk. Look at the stars. You look up. At home, the light of the town would drown out that of the stars. But here on the mountain, with no other sources to compete with, they shine bright and clear and uncountable above you. The turquoise remnants of sunset still tinge the western end of the sky, but overhead you can see the stripe of the Milky Way flowing across its backdrop of midnight blue. Anxious though you are to find Toriel and get home, you can't deny that it's a...
6:30, then why is it like sunset?
Well, it could be wintertime.
Well,
Or,
Before
depending
daylight
on your latitude,
yeah.
it's probably darker sooner. Anxious though you are to find... Is it?
Yeah, they said it was in the U.S.
Did they?
Yep.
Whereabouts?
Well, Frisk was talking to Flowey and he said, like, the place where they live is called the United States.
No.
So.
Well, maybe it's Alaska. Or maybe it's just wintertime. Yep. Yes, your comments will be passed on for... Yes, I think that is... Yes.
Not to the right part.
Not to the... Yes, that's right, not to the right parts. Anyway, I will, thank you. Anxious though you are to find Toriel and get home, you can't deny that it's a spectacular view. They're beautiful, Flowey whispers, his eyes misty, his head craned all the way back. I haven't found anything so beautiful in so long. You hold him as still as you can, loath to cut short his first moments of happiness in who knows how long. But your arms do tire eventually, and you really do need to get home. Flowey, I think we better get going. Huh? He responds, not quite back with you yet. I said we have to go, you repeat gently. It's late, and Toriel will be worried. Yeah, he concedes, turning his head away from the sky at last. Are you good to carry me? Sure. You reposition the bag over your shoulders and begin your descent, treading carefully on the shadowy, uneven ground. And, Frisk? Flowey says tentatively after a moment of quiet. Yeah, you say. Can you call me Azrael? From his spot on your back, he can't see you smile. Maybe that's for the best. Sure thing, Azrael.
But
That
how do you end?
is the end
Part one.
of part 1.
But that doesn't explain why he suddenly got sold.
Yeah, that was the thing. Well, you'll have
It's
to ask
like,
Alphys
who?
and Gersa.
Hey, you have to give me points. I completely realized what happened. With
As
this
he
whole
was
thing.
breaking down.
When he was starting to say not when he said what did you do, but when he said I keep wanting to hurt more. And
You keep hurting more.
I keep hurting more, and I keep wanting to do something, and then he said something about pain, and I was like, wait, he
In
feels
this
pain.
chapter
Yeah.
or a previous chapter?
Keep reading.
reading. This chapter.
Yeah.
Because he said, like... And
Yeah, I thought I
feel the pain.
I heard various grunts of realization coming from
Keep reading.
various girls.
He said something about, like, it's all the pain, and I was like, oh, I bet that's a thing. And then he said, like, and I keep remembering all the things, and then I said, I thought he couldn't feel guilt.
Yeah.
And boom.
Keep reading.
What is the next chapter called?
The next chapter is called Toriel.
Read it.
Wasn't there already a chapter about Toriel?
There was not.
Yeah.
As far.
No, there wasn't.
Nope, there was not.
Keep reading.
Flowey Pie, Undyne Stars, School Fusion Science Presentation, Alphys, Papyrus, River, Asgore, Buttercups, Storm, Load, Flowey, Toriel.
Keep reading. Read it. Go.
Oh, so Frisk gets another chance to do the whole presentation thingy.
Oh boy.
And
He's
this
looking-
time,
But this
he
time,
can
and this time he'll have help from someone who really enjoys stars and doesn't think they're
Exactly.
dumb.
And then he could.
Well, he didn't think they were dumb.
Notes. This concludes part 1 of What Even Is a Soul Anyway? Starting now, this story will be on hiatus for a little while, which was back to give me time to plan and write the next few chapters. This break will take a month at the longest. I expect part 2, when it's done, to be significantly shorter than part 1. The return of Azrael's soul marks the central turning point of the story, but in terms of sheer words, we're more than halfway through.
Read it.
I think now is a good time to once again thank everyone who's read and commented on this story since I first began publishing it. The emotional beats of this chapter have been planned in my head since 2018, and at that time, I really didn't know if I'd be able to get this far without quitting. It wouldn't have happened without your support, so thank you. I hope you'll agree it's been worth it. I hope you're looking forward to reading the rest as much as I'm looking forward to sharing it. Yet another persona.
Read. Read Toriel. Go.
Nope, can't read Toriel.
Yes.
It is 9:35.
So? we're not tired.
Okay,
It's
Daddy,
9:36.
We should probably wait until the whole story is finished.
No.
Oh, well, we do have the other 2 chapters of the thingy thing. Has there been a third yet?
I don't believe there is a third in the minor scheduling.
Yeah, there is. There's 4, and
I'm sorry, there is a second and a third. I don't think there's a fourth.
Mm-hmm. What are they
One?
called?
wait, there's not a 4th, so it's not. Whose perspective are they dropping?
There's not
Yeah.
a fourth yet.
There's going to be a 4th.
It has not yet.
Minor
perspective do they have?
scheduling. That's not how I'm going to find it.
Now I'm curious.
Let
I want an Azrael
that be enough.
Actually, on
I
second
suppose
thought,
Let That Be Enough was
Since
technically
it's-
the name of chapter 1.
since it's about all this stuff, maybe I don't want an Azrael perspective. But I don't know. I think it'll be good.
This is a... It's not in chapters, it's just part 1.
Imagine.
Each one is a... Part 2 was Plan of Attack. We've already read that one.
Imagine.
Wait, have we?
No.
No.
We have not, sorry. My mistake.
Imagine Frisk calling Flowey Azrael in front of Toriel. It would just be like, wait,
Flowey's
wait,
probably
wait,
gonna
wait.
slip up and say "Mom" the first time.
Of course he
Well,
will.
it depends on what Flowey's plans
Of
are.
course he will.
He's still coming to terms with having feelings at all. So he may not
like
have thought
said,
that
he
far
has
ahead.
Part of it, probably.
Yep.
So if Frisk slowed and all that made us some comeback,
Well,
but it didn't, sadly.
Kara's just gonna be like, grr.
Maybe Frisk
Azrael's
should,
like,
maybe Frisk should save again.
yeah.
Grr.
The third part of a minor scheduling error.
Actually,
I keep getting this series name wrong,
What's it
so I call it something different every time.
we know what it is.
Yes.
Who are the perspectives by?
The third part is called Everything the Light Doesn't Touch.
Oh, I've heard that before.
Yeah, Daddy's talked about it.
What?
Who are the
No, what is that phrase?
Oh, where does that phrase come from? I think it comes from a movie. At least that's the only place I know it from.
Oh.
Yes, that will be part 3.
What are the people? Who are the perspectives by?
Yes, they certainly are in that story.
Yeah, but who?
Yep,
Which ones do we have so far?
you're exactly right.
That's
So,
just the only
Azrael.
animal that you know.
There's a 2 in 3 chance we got Azrael.
All right, thank you for
Last time
listening to this story.
The same stuffed
thing.
animal over
And
and over.
I approve the Azrael.
Jeff, I
But
had 2
Azrael
different
needs
turtles
to
and a
turn into Azrael, but hopefully that's gonna happen. So that's
Well, first he needs to do stuff with us.
You can't impose fluffy goats on authors.
fine. Okay. You should have said that like 5 months ago.
What? Who did we impose it
We've
on?
been doing that to like every single author you've ever read a story of.
Hey, listen, this
Including
entire
ones that aren't
story-
Undertale at all.
This entire story has been pretty much like a save Flowey / Asriel. This is like a perfect.
Save
You need to
Flowey.
turn Asriel into fluffy goat awesomeness.
Well, yeah.
Come on.
The
more fluffy
I'm
ghosts,
sure
But hey, we're
yet
already
another
good.
persona has their
This is
ideas.
already a good. This is good progress.
Okay.
I love it.
I'm glad that you approve.